Do you guys think my collar looks a little like Don Juan-y? Like, haha, hello, haha, hey. It's just, maybe I should let's just go all the way. Actually, let's not. Hey guys, welcome back from Thanksgiving. I hope your Thanksgivings went really well and they were filled with delicious food and stilted conversations ducking around uncomfortable topics, as I'm sure they all were. For Thanksgiving, I made a cherry pie. So if you haven't seen that video, check it out. Otherwise, let's just dive right in. As read from Buffering Unshared Tales of a Life Fully Loaded. If you guys want to hear me read all of Buffering, you can go ahead and head over to audible.com/harto and start your 30-day free trial and get a free download of Buffering Unshared Tales of a Life Fully Noted. Noted? Noted. That is Buffering Unshared Tales of a Life Fully Loaded by going over to audible.com/harto, H-A-R-T-O, and starting your 30-day free trial and getting a free download of Buffering. Let me entice you by giving you a reading from Chapter 9, Shadow Boxer, as I begin my journey of sexuality. So I'm going to begin reading a third of the way in. This takes place my freshman year of college at Berkeley. Berkeley's campus is green year-round, with a variety of flowers that all seem to bloom at once. That's how it looks in my memory, every moment on the verge of blossoming, every breeze laced with opportunity. Oh, Hannah! When I found out I was going to college, it was a dream come true. Not only was UC Berkeley my reach school, but it was the one school that I applied to that had accepted me. So it must have been fate. This application process wasn't smooth, and before accepting me, they asked for 2 additional letters of recommendation and gave me 13 essay questions that I had to complete and return within a 10-day window. I remember walking into my yearbook class after school and talking through the application process with Mr. Morgan, one of my favorite teachers, a man whose approach and dedication to education and his students had saved many lives, including mine. Being admitted to Berkeley was not only great because of its academic reputation, but also because it was in the Bay Area. I wouldn't have to leave my mother or my sister behind. They would only be a BART ride away. I was also provided with financial aid assistance in the form of work study. Life was looking up. Everything was falling into place, and I was determined not to screw it up and to do better than I ever had academically. I had been blessed, and I would not squander the gifts the Lord had provided. So, freshman year, I was a good Christian girl who wore a cross and lived in Freeborn Hall, the substance-free dorm on campus. That year, I didn't party much, and I went around to Christian church groups trying to find the one that was liberal enough for my political views and had a man that I could marry. Despite dabbling in dating in high school, I had yet to fall in love or experience that head-over-heels feeling. I was determined to find a partner so my real life could begin. At that time, I also chose a major, communications, specializing in advertising, which eventually switched to English Lit. At that time, I also continued my studies of French, which eventually switched to Japanese. And at that time, I was also bullshitting myself a lot. Which actually, no, that stuck around for quite a bit. I read more of Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter fanfic than was healthy and kept my mind as tightly locked in a fantasy as I could. Sure, maybe I was avoiding something, but what about Draco and Harry, huh? What were they avoiding? Their love for each other? I shipped that shiz. When the holidays arrived, I would stay on campus and continue to work. My financial aid provided me with meal points, but when classes were out of session, the dining halls were all closed. I remember one rainy week, must have been just before spring break, walking across the campus carrying boxes of instant mac and cheese that I had planned to make in the microwave. I'd live on that all week. Pasta never let you down. And if I wanted a real hot meal, I could take the train an hour and a half south to visit my father or back across the peninsula to visit Maggie and her adopted family. The holidays were lonely, but when school was back in session, I was happy as a clam. I loved being in the dorms because I loved being surrounded by people all studying different things. During that first year at school, I met one of my, to this day, closest friends, Becca. I don't know why we were so instantly fond of each other. On paper, we were totally different. Becca had a very wry, dry outlook on the world, bordering on pessimistic, yet she was supportive and delightful and hilarious. Once I invited her to go check out some church event with me, and her deadpan reply was, Jesus, on a weekday. Needless to say, I never did find a church that was quite the right fit. Jehovah's Witnesses were against all other forms of religion, no matter how Christian they seemed. I knew I didn't want to be a witness, because that shit was crazy, but I still loved Jesus and God, and I wanted to continue my worship. I just couldn't figure out how. As freshman year was coming to a close, and despite efforts to convince myself that I had crushes on the guys around me, I could never maintain my interest or find a spark. Still no boyfriend/future husband. I figured it was because my childhood had screwed me up. I was damaged goods, incapable of loving anyone romantically, possibly ever. Becoming a nun was starting to seem like an option. But instead of moving to a nunnery, I did the next best thing and moved into a 60-person, all-female co-op. A co-op is an off-campus public house open to anyone attending a school nearby. Hoyt Hall had 60 other girls living in it and was sure to keep me chaste and safe from the devil's fornications. I moved to avoid boys so I could avoid being so tempted. Yep, nothing but me and the ladies, safe from all physical desires. Yep. Oh, the lies we tell ourselves. That first fall at Hoyt Hall was very full and fast. Our co-op operated on communal labor. Everyone had work shifts, and there were management positions along with those shifts. We each pulled our weight to maintain our home together. I shared a double room with a girl named Lana who was so brilliant and strong that we did push-up contests as study breaks. And I met so many other wonderfully strong and interesting people in that house. Transfer students, 5-year graduates, women from differing racial and socioeconomic backgrounds, women who liked to have open and frank discussions about mental health, women who knew how to cook, women who knew how to eat, women with different abilities and talents, women who struggled and triumphed. They all challenged and inspired me in every possible way. Oh, and I met lesbians there. Bona fide, out and proud lesbians. Obviously, I avoided them like the plague. But I flirted with all the straight girls. But not like in a gay way, of course, because being gay was gross. Ew. I was just flirting with girls whom I had tingly feelings for because, friendship. Part of me believed I was exploring the freedom of being flirtatious on girls to prep for the boys. Because anytime my flirtations with a straight identifying girl led to a quiet confessions of feelings on her behalf, I would reject her and tell her that she had been misinterpreting my intentions all along. Then at night, before bed, I would read my Bible and pray. Pray for a husband, as I did every night. Pray for Jehovah to bring me a husband. Late in the semester, before winter break crept up, I found out I would be getting a single room in the spring. Someone joked that it would be the year I would for sure get some lovin', and I'm sure I gave them a thumbs up in return. The single room was available because it was the smallest in the house, the width of a large walk-in closet, but it was the first time in my life I would have a room all to myself, so I was thrilled. A bedroom of my own design. How blessed these new beginnings were sure to be. The first night I spent in that room, I read a scripture that struck me. When you ask, you do not receive because you ask with wrong motives, that you may spend what you get on your pleasures. James 4:3. I remembered a talk in the Kingdom Hall that my father had given about how we could not pray for specific things because it might not be in God's plan for us to have them. Instead, we must pray for the strength behind those things, for the meaning behind them. I had spent more than a year and a half praying for God to help me find a husband. But maybe I hadn't found him because I hadn't been capable of it. That night, instead of my usual prayers for a man to sweep me off my feet, I prayed, Lord, please help me to understand my heart. Please guide me toward love. Oh shit, and then I met my first girlfriend and there was lots of drama. If you guys liked listening to me read that out loud, be sure to go to audible.com/harto and start your free trial and download your free copy of Buffering Unshared Tales of a Life Fully Loaded. It gets better. Thank you so much to my partners at Audible for supporting this video, and thank you so much to you guys for supporting this book. I am so happy that people are continuing to read Buffering and talk to me about it. Let me know if you guys want to book club this shit. I'm totally down. Like and subscribe to my channel for new videos every time I post them. I'll see you guys on Thursday. Mwah. Have a great day.